had been at the river, and I'll not probably go into tremendous detail, but alcohol had been involved, and had been a part of that day. And the guy behind the wheel he was drinking, and they were going down Hobbs Island Road, and that's what happened. I think some of the guys didn't have seatbelts on, immediately flung from the car, all of that type of thing. And he was just a really dynamic friend in my life, and it was devastating, that especially that several months after, and that next year and all, from that. So that was just one incident in my life of not wanting to follow that path or on that.
How can you help a young person? We've had two instances with my one granddaughter's 13 and one younger was a little younger. Well, I guess maybe she was 11 when this happened. That some, two different people have died. How do you help a young person get through when they have a really close friend, peer that dies?
Well, it's not an easy thing. One of my students back in Texas actually, her brother just committed suicide, and it was just a really really hard thing to walk through with her, because for me personally, I've never had an immediate family member that has died like that. And uh, basically, I think, or what I did in this situation is just encouraging them, just about that the Lord does love them, and that He's there with them. I don't think you can explain all the times, why God allows that to happen, because I can't answer that question. I don't think a lot of people could. And of course, this situation was this guy's decision on that. It wasn't just an accident of a situation or of a suicide. And just being there with them, and talking to them, and just enjoying, letting them know that you're there for them, and that you want to listen to them. And I just think in a lot of situations with a funeral of any type, just being a shoulder to cry on, and just uh, allowing them to learn kind of from that situation. It was really great to talk to her, and she was able to reflect back on the path that her brother went on, and just has tried to really change a lot of her ways of not, she's like, I don't want to go down the road he did. I've seen where it leads, um, and all in that.
I know that in this case, that a lot of people you don't many times know what to say, and you're exactly right. If you can just say, just be there for a shoulder to cry on is great. Uh, there were just simple things when our daughter got killed. What I really hated was people saying to me, well, you're so fortunate because you still have two children living. And I'd think, excuse me, that is not exactly helping me at this moment. But if they would just sit there with me, hold my hand, give me some mints, give me a Coke, and her cup of coffee and then a mint. Anyway, so it is just being there. You've got the answer right there. It's just being there. And I taught at a high school. Well, did seminars West High School in Jonesboro, Arkansas, where a guy went up in a tree, and as the kids came out, they shot him. I mean, he shot them and a teacher, and I think that was before Columbine, but so many things have happened since then, and it was that he felt left out. He wasn't, included in any group, and so he just people hurt his feelings, and that's why he took it out on them. So it's not easy to be a young person today. And so I'm so. Now, how did you get to the point where you got selected or decided to go to Spain?
Well, it's been kind of part of a journey for me. It wasn't this, some people that you talk to have these kind of defining moment of this is just the one thing. I feel like there's been several moments in my life where um, I just knew, based on really the circumstances, that this was the time to go, for that. Um, for me, really, it was when I was in Texas. I was at seminary working on my master's, and I had a professor that got up really my first year or first semester of being there, and mentioned to our entire class, not just to me. He said, I know that there's a class of people that really have a heart for college students and young people, and um, what if there are some people here that still have this incredible passion and love for students, but maybe they feel led to do it in a different place than America. And I don't know, something just kind of triggered in my heart where I just started to think on that thought, and just really prayed about it through a lot of my classes for the next roughly 3 years that I was there. It was not quite exactly three, but um, and that grew, that continued to grow. And the procedure of applying and getting things together has probably been about a year, because you have to go through different um, interviews and those kind of things, and a whole lot of paperwork. But I just through a lot of prayer, and again back to certain situations, just know that this is the path that I need to go at this point in my life.
Now, your brother also was touring around with a group of 20 other people. Tell us a little bit about that incident. It's just so interesting to a brother and a sister, and both of you are doing such incredible things. So, tell us a little bit about what he told us Wednesday night about his trip.
Okay. He was he's at Southern Seminary in Louisville, and found out about this from a couple of professors, basically. And there were several, roughly about 22 students that were chosen, not only from Southern, where he is, but different places as well. And he was selected. I believe he was four out of like the seminary, basically, that went. And it was about a 3.5 week trip, and it was a strong concentration on archaeology, um, also looking at the whole situation in the Middle East, and just what does the Bible have to say about certain areas, and looking a lot of at the geological evidence and those kind of things. And so he just, for that time, took a trip through the Middle East, of being in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Israel, Egypt, ended up in Athens, Greece, at the um, Acropolis and the Parthenon, and each of those types of things. And it was just a strong concentration study of several of the things I've already mentioned. And they would kind of look at about two sides of the coin. What is what the Bible's saying about this really true? Do you believe this? And it was very interesting, because several of the students that were there, not every one of them, had a lot of questions about the Bible being completely the inerrant Word of God, if that was really a true thing on that.
Well, I understood your dad and your brother to say that most of them didn't even believe in that the Bible was the authentic Word of God, is my understanding. And they're going to be the leaders of our spiritual world, the next 22 people going into the around the country to train. How could that be? I just don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what you understand?
Yes, I mean, from what I understand from Jason, the students that came from his seminary um, would stand on some of the things that Jason had mentioned, but some of the others, you definitely had a lot of questions on that. So it provided some great, I guess the word's not, well, I guess it would be kind of debates, discussions about each of the different things, and they were able to work through that process of. But I mean, I recently took a trip to Israel in March, and I was there in Israel and Jordan with a professor from Texas, actually. And so many different things when you stand there and you look at these things. You're standing on 2,100-year-old steps, on the southern steps right outside the Temple Mount. Um, it's hard to question